Now, this is a simply astonishing story because a convicted terrorist standing for election in Birmingham has told GB News he believes he is no longer radicalised and is now ready to serve his community. Shahid Butt was found guilty of plotting to bomb the British consulate in Yemen in 1999 and also an Anglican church. But he told GB News' National Reporter Will Godley the charges were fabricated and he believes he was convicted in a kangaroo court.
On trial for terrorism, Shahid Butt was convicted of plotting to blow up the British consulate, a church and a hotel in Yemen nearly 30 years ago.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you all.
Now he's standing for election in Birmingham and believes his past shouldn't stop him from doing so.
I need to clarify that, first of all, I was convicted in Yemen, not in the UK. This happened in 1998, so it's a few decades ago.
Still happened though?
Yeah, it happened, yeah. And most importantly, it was false charges that I was charged with. None of these charges were true. It was a kangaroo court. I was tortured into signing a confession.
But that claim was rejected by the court. Shahid was sentenced to 5 years in a Yemeni prison, somewhere he says de-radicalised him after previously fighting in Bosnia and Afghanistan.
There's a difference between being religious, going to a mosque every week on a Friday, and then going and fighting for a religion. So were you radicalised?
In the context that you're framing that question, yes.
Do you still feel radicalised?
No.
What's changed?
25 years. I'm older. I'm more mature. At that time, I had a very sort of blinkered view of the world and of everything. And I took things literally when really I should have looked at the nuances. I should have looked at the context. And on the back of that, yeah, I did make mistakes.
So a 5-year prison sentence in Yemen de-radicalised you?
You could say something like that, yeah. Because I changed a lot of my thoughts and my way of thinking, yeah. I had time to think.
Shahid also did jail time in the UK after being caught street fighting in the early 90s.
I was in a very rough environment, and being of a dark skin, being an Asian, I was constantly a target. When we say had a violent background, that violence was brought upon me and I reacted to that violence.
Are you still violent?
I don't think I'm violent, no. I think I'm very calm and I'm very civilized, and but I'm not a pacifist.
We're living in a time of what feels like pretty significant social change, and it makes us question things that we've even taken for granted for decades. And one of those at the moment that people are wondering about is actually money. Is the money in your bank account safe? Should you be investing elsewhere? Are we looking at a potential global crash? What will it mean for your savings? Is there a way that you could be using your money that might be outside of government control even? Well, TallyMoney is potentially one solution. So I'm delighted to say that I'm joined today by the CEO and founder of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. What is TallyMoney?
Well, at TallyMoney, you basically get gold you can spend. So we give people an individual account in their name, everyday account. They get a sort code, an account number. They use that account just like they would pounds from their bank, but it's milligrams of gold that we brand as Tally.
Okay. Why would you do that, though? What is the benefit to the customer instead of just having a normal pound sterling account?
Gold's performance against the pound is above 11% per annum over the last 25 years on average. But we still need money in our daily lives, and we have savings. We know that it's good common sense and prudent to save up for things, not just living credit. You know, whether it's a holiday or a rainy day, your retirement planning, you need to have money in your life, basically, that you can rely on, that's dependable, that nobody meddles with, that nobody can weaponise against you, which is another element of government control when it's the government currency, which we could talk about another time. And it should be pretty simple and straightforward, and that's what we deliver at Tally. And really, we just want people to feel safe and happy with their money. There was a time when the bigger your bank balance, the more confident you felt. Now it's like, I need to do something with it. I can't leave it there. In Tally, you can.
Okay, brilliant. Cameron Parry from TallyMoney, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bev.
Shahid is echoing comments he made ahead of Maccabi Tel Aviv's football match in Birmingham last year.
Remember, Muslims are not pacifists. If somebody comes into your face, you knock his teeth out.
That's encouraging violence.
What I was actually telling people was that in British law, if you feel that your life is in danger, you're allowed to defend yourself with a preemptive strike.
So if you were elected, do you see a situation you would have to knock someone's teeth out?
I doubt it very much. I mean, I haven't knocked anybody's teeth out for years.
The campaign against anti-Semitism says Butt advocated for confrontation with Israeli fans and players.
Do you feel you are anti-Semitic?
As a Muslim, I can't be anti-Semitic. Jews are my cousins. Our religions come from the same father, which is Abraham's. It doesn't make sense.
Shahid Butt feels he's the right candidate to represent Sparkhill on Birmingham City Council. But victims of terror attacks, including the 7/7 bombings and Westminster Bridge, have called on him to step aside.
To those people who object to you standing, want you to stand down, will you?
No, because I feel that I am the right candidate to get the job done. I'm better than all of these Labour candidates and all the other people, who can't speak English, who can't read, who can't write. At least I can read and write and speak English. And I can go into that council house, I can read the budgets, I can see where all the funding is going, I can see where all the projects and the opportunities are, and bring those opportunities to Sparkhill.
Shahid Butt's past doesn't prevent him from standing. The law states only convictions made in the UK within the last 5 years would lead to a disqualification. But whether he's elected is now a decision for the people of Sparkhill. Will Godley, GB News, Birmingham.
That was an astonishing interview. Will Godley there. Hats off to you, Mr. Godley. Let's just go back over what was said there. Shahid Butt, convicted terrorist, now who said on the streets of Birmingham when Maccabi Tel Aviv fans weren't let into Britain that Muslim people should smash the teeth out of people who disagree with them, said he isn't violent, he's reformed. And he said, at least I'm better than the Labour candidates who can't even speak or read English. Well, a Labour source has told GB News this. Let us be very clear, this man is a convicted terrorist. He was found guilty of conspiring to bomb a British consulate and has been jailed for committing violence in Birmingham. He's a threat to Birmingham, a threat to Britain, and should be nowhere near public office. Nigel Nelson, you're with me. It's very rare, I'm lost for words. That was incredible.
That was an astonishing interview. I agree with you, an astonishing interview. And all the voters who are eligible to vote for this man should actually see that interview and make up their own minds whether to vote for him or not. I mean, there is nothing to prevent him standing. That the only way you can prevent someone's prevented from standing is they've served 3 months in jail or a suspended sentence within the last 5 years. Doesn't qualify there. What he has done since then, he has been working with the Home Office on the Prevent programme, and what he says he does is tries to turn young people away from being radicalised. But that doesn't excuse the basic thing here. He is a convicted terrorist, and we've seen that clip about smashing someone's teeth out. I think that that would be a source for worry for voters there.
He's about to stand in the Sparkhill region of Birmingham, which, by the way, is 80% Muslim. Is more or less guaranteed to be voted in. And you're correct to say there is no law preventing him from standing, because he said, oh, no, I bombed a consulate and a church in Yemen. I haven't got a British criminal record. He conspired to. He served jail time. He said that he was stitched up. A lot of criminals do. Later on in the show, I'll be speaking to Travis Frayne. He survived the Westminster Bridge terror attack. I want to get his views on if he believes that a former terrorist, convicted terrorist, should be allowed to stand. But you think that's a glimpse into a taste of a sectarian politics we've come in Britain. Doesn't matter. He was saying there, I can't be anti-Semitic because Jews are my brother. it's on a different planet.
Well, no, well, he's not. In fact, I mean, that is the belief of Islam, that both religions, both the
Muslims are anti-Semitic. So where are all the anti-Semitic hate crime figures suddenly coming from?
Well, first of all,
Christians,
hang on a sec.
Catholics,
he was talking about Islam,
Buddhists,
and Islam,
atheists,
Judaism, and Christianity all come from the same source. He's right about that. He's right that under his religion he can't be anti-Semitic. That doesn't mean that some Muslims aren't anti-Semitic.
It was an incredible interview, and look, I'm proud of this channel for giving everybody a say. We spoke with Mr. Shahid Butt. We let him have his say. You've seen what he had to say. I'll put it to the survivor of a terror attack later on to see what he's got to say. I want to know what you think. Get in touch, GBViews, gbnews.com, for what was quite an incredible interview. Coming up